We've been hunting vintage watches for the past decade, and throughout our interactions with collectors and other avid hunters of oddities, we've come to realize watches are a simple conduit to our passion. What we chase are stories about time and how this one variable imparts its touch upon these objects. Whether it's an aged Japanese whiskey, a tropical Rolex watch, or even a weirdly mutated cactus, there exists an ethos that goes beyond any one simple hobby or discipline. In this series, we explore that ethos and speak to others outside of our watch community to better understand what we truly chase.
My name is Johan. I'm one of the owners of 3SIXTEEN, as well as a co-owner of Self-Edge here in Los Angeles and New York. And me and my wife also have a little incense company called Naps. Nowadays, we are a menswear company that really focuses on special fabrics that are cut and sewn and constructed here in the US, mostly in San Francisco. But we didn't start off that way. When the brand first started, we had no idea what we were doing, so we just printed t-shirts. That's what you do when you're trying to get a company off the ground and you have no idea what you're doing. So we make really good jeans. We design our own fabrics in Japan. They're woven for us, exclusively for us. The fabric is then shipped over from Okayama to San Francisco and then cut and sewn in San Francisco. Out of that collection, when we started producing clothing, the denim really took off for us. There weren't a lot of American-made companies that were our size that were using custom woven Japanese denim. And still, it's not very common because the minimums are really, really high and the cost is really, really expensive. It's such a rare thing in our world for a product to be designed and considered in terms of how it will age and what it will look like in 5 years' time. Almost everything that we buy in our lives is made to look the best when it's brand new and then go downhill from there. And so it's really refreshing to own a product or to design a product or to buy a product where you know that it's good for the product to use it, to actually use it and to use it hard and to wear it without, without concern of making it worse. And I think that goes back to my childhood also because we didn't grow up with a lot of money, and so the things that I got jobs for and paid for and earned, I still own to this day, and I really cherished. And so I don't like the idea of impermanence. I don't like, buying something that's really precious and fragile and not being able to use it for fear of it losing its value or breaking really easily or getting a really unsightly scratch on it that's going to make it not usable anymore or something like that. I really value things like old watches, like clothing that you can really wear and beat up, like boots, like leather jackets, that you can live in, wear, enjoy, actually enjoy the money that you put into it and the whatever cost that you spent on it, and know that it's only getting better. Like, that's such a rare thing in life, and it's such a sort of freeing feeling. I only wear one pair of jeans at a time. Going back to history a little bit, when jeans got really popular, they started pre-distressing jeans because people would want to buy jeans that looked the way that broken in jeans looked. And so they developed stonewashing, bleaching, pre-distressing, all of that stuff. And that got really popular in like the 80s and 90s. But it doesn't work for everybody. So if I were to buy a pre-distressed pair of jeans, I'm short. I have a really short inseam. So the knees would be where my shins are. The thigh fades would be where my knees are. It just it looks ridiculous. It looks stupid. It looks bad, And so really the only way for me to get a pair of jeans that looks like this is to actually wear the jeans and break them in myself. This is the same fabric, exact same fabric, in a different cut, but I wore these for years, traveled all over the world with them, repaired them a bunch so that I could continue wearing them. I leave them here at the shop to show people the fading potential of this fabric. The most important part of retail for us is the experience of it, not necessarily the actual transactional nature of it. It's the experience that we can provide for customers. And so when we saw the space, we immediately likened it to, being in Tokyo and stumbling upon a bar that you got to walk through a garage to get to, or a cool store that's on a second floor of a building that has no sign, or something tucked around the corner that you would never notice unless you were walking the streets. And that sense of discovery doesn't happen a lot in retail anymore. You have it in some parts of Asia, you used to have it in some parts of New York, but everything is much more commercialized now. And so for us, this space fit perfectly, because if you have a little bit of a hard time getting into a store, you're gonna remember that store. You're gonna remember your experience of getting into that store. And if you have a good experience, then you're gonna tell your friends about it, and you're gonna have this little thing that you have, this little nugget of information that you have. Especially for the product that we sell, there is something that cannot be translated through a computer screen. And the product has to fit right, So it's important that people are able to come into our stores and feel the fabrics and understand why this is different from this. What 17 ounces feels like compared to 14 ounces compared to 12 ounces. That's something that you can't get a sense of online. And you also have, when you come into a lot of our stores, it's less of like a shopping experience where you go and you grab something off a rack, you go into the dressing room, try it on, you check out, and then you take off. That almost never happens in one of our stores, and we sort of set up the stores for it not to happen that way. We would rather someone come in, have a conversation with them, show them what we have, grab the size that we think is best for them in the fabric that we think is best for them, walk them to the dressing room and really walk them through how it should fit brand new, how it's gonna fit over time, what's gonna change about it if they soak it, that sort of thing. We're a small company, we're not gonna have retail stores all over the world. We wouldn't be able to do them and run them at the quality that we would want to, but it is valuable for us to have physical spaces in the cities that we're in, at least, to start off with, and provide that for our customers. Part of our company's ethos is that we don't want to just make stuff to make stuff. There's enough stuff in the world. It was very important to us that we made a distinctive product, and we gave our customers a reason to buy our product.